Okay, we're holding in the Gemara in Shabbos towards the bottom of Yud Aleph Amud Beis, where it says Ela Amar Rav Amnuna towards the end of the line. Let me just give a brief introduction to what we were talking about over here yesterday. The Gemara brought two braises regarding a Zov that has an emission and he wears a pouch to hold the emission. In one braise it says Lo Yetze, that he may not walk out with it, but if he does, then it's only Asim D'Rabbanan. He's Patim and Atayra. In another braise it says he's Chayev Chatos. So the Gemara is trying to settle the stira between these two braises. Why in one place does it say that a Zav Minatayra is allowed to walk out with this pouch? And why in one braise it says that Minatayra he may not walk out with this pouch? So the Gemara now is going to suggest a second answer. Ela Amar Rav Amnuna. Rav Amnuna says Loi Kashya. There's no question here. Kan Bezav Bal Shtei Riyos. One case is talking about a Zav that saw two emissions. Kam Bezav Bal Gimel Riyos. And in another case it's talking about a Zav that saw that is three emissions. What's the difference? A Zav that sees two emissions has to keep clean days and go to the mikveh, but he doesn't have to bring any carbon for that. A Zav that sees three emissions has to bring a carbon. So he has to use his pouch to see if he's going to have a third emission in order to know if he's going to have to bring a carbon or not. So therefore, a Zav Bal Shtei Riyos has a use for the pouch. So he's allowed to wear it on Shabbos. A Zav Bal Gimel Riyos, he already saw three Riyos, so there's no point of him wearing this pouch on Shabbos. So the Gemara now asks on this. Maish no Zav Bal Shtei Riyos Techayev Demi Boyele Lebedikem. So the Zav, the Baal Shtei Riyos, he only had two Riyos, and therefore he's wearing it in order to see if he has a third Riyah. So this is the normal way of wearing it. I may have said a mistake before. Let me just clarify again. The Zav that saw the two Riyos, so he needs it for the third Riyah. So that's the regular way for him to wear it. He needs it for that. So therefore, he's going to be chayev because he needs it for this purpose. The miboyle lebedike, he has to be baitik if he's going to see a third riyah. Zav bal gimel, a zav that saw three riyahs, nami miboyle lesfira. He also needs the pouch to see if he's going to be clean. What happens with a zav after three riyahs? He has to have 7 clean days. So he needs the pouch to see if he's going to have 7 clean days. So he's allowed to wear it on Shabbos. He's not allowed to wear it on Shabbos, that is. He's carrying it the normal way that he would carry it, and therefore he's not allowed to carry it out into the Shus Harabim. And for the Gemara, Loi Nitzrecha Ela Leboi Bayom. So rather, what we're talking about over here is the person saw 3 Riyos, and it's on that very day that he saw the third Riyah. So this day is for sure not clean. So he doesn't need the pouch to clarify if he's going to be clean today or not, because he already saw it today, and it's 3 riyahs, so he doesn't have to clarify he's going to have any additional riyahs, so there's no reason for him to wear it. So this is not the normal way for him to wear it. So if he walks out with it on Shabbos, he's not going to be chayiv. Frag the Gemara, but there's something else that he wants to have this pouch. Why is this person wearing this pouch? Because he's having these emissions, and he doesn't want to get his garments dirty. So he's wearing the pouch in the place not to get his garments dirty. That's normal for him to wear the pouch in this area, and therefore he's carrying it in his normal way, and he should be chayiv on Shabbos. And for the Gemara, Amar Abzeire, Hai Tana Huda Oma. This Tana's opinion is Kol Atzuli Tinuf Loika Choshev. If you're carrying something, you're wearing something, you place something in a position that it's only there to not get your clothing dirty, that's not significant. That's not considered to be a normal way of carrying on Shabbos. And the Gemara brings an interesting source for this from a Mishnah in Masechta Machshirin. We learned in the Mishnah Machshirin, Hakoyfe Kaira ala Kaisel. What happens if a person takes a plate and he puts it upside down on top of a wall, and it's raining outside? And what we're talking about over here is, when it comes to tumah, food that is, cannot be makabel tumah unless water comes in contact with the food. If there's no water, then the food is not makabel tumah. The produce, the food is not makabel tumah. That water that comes in contact with the food, the owner has to have been satisfied for the water that came onto that food. If the owner is not satisfied about that water, if it came on the water against his will, then it's still not going to be makabel tumah. So now it's raining outside, and you have produce there, and there's a wall, and the person went and placed a plate on top of the wall, and the water goes onto this plate. From the plate, it splashes over onto other produce. The question is, that water that's splashed onto the produce, do we consider this to be something that the owner is satisfied that that water went on the produce? So it depends why the plate was positioned there on top of the wall. If the plate was placed there upside down on top of the wall in order to wash this this plate, so then that qualifies for kiyutan. Kiyutan is the source in the pasuk where it says only if water was placed with the satisfaction of the owner on the produce, then it's susceptible to tumah, that is. That's if the plate was placed there with the person's interest to wash the plate. He wants the water to go on the plate. Even though the owner may not want the water to go onto the produce, but because the initial place where the water lands on the plate, the owner wants the water to go there, and then from there it splashes onto the produce, it makes the produce fit for tumah. However, if he only placed a plate upside down on top of a wall for the only purpose because he wants to try to protect the wall of the rain, of the water in that area, then eine b'chiyutan. Then I say that it's the water that's going on this plate. The owner is not satisfied for this. He's not interested in the water. On the contrary, he's only putting the plate there because he wants to protect the wall from the rain. So any water that hits the plate and then splashes over onto the produce does not make it fit for tumah. He doesn't want that rain at all. So what do we see from here? If a person is placing a plate somewhere and he's only putting it there because he wants to protect from the rain, so then that's not considered to be something that's to his satisfaction. Same thing over here. If a Zav is wearing a pouch and he's only wearing the pouch because he wants to protect his clothing not to get dirty, that's not significant enough that it's considered to be that he's carrying it out on the regular way. That's the comparison. Therefore, if he carries it out on Shabbos, he'll be potter, because it's not the regular way to carry it. He needs to use it to keep his clothing clean. That's not good enough. Like we see over here, it's not good enough to consider it to be significant that it's the satisfaction of the owner for the rain to come down there and then to go onto this plate. Adarabi, he just wants to protect it. So the Gemara answers, me dummy. What kind of a comparison is there over here? There's no comparison at all. Hasam, what are we dealing with over there when it comes to the case of the plate and the water with the tumah? Over there we're talking about the rain. Does he want the rain at all? He would rather it not rain at all. He doesn't want the rain whatsoever. Hasam loikaboylu lahani mashkin klal. He's not interested in the rain whatsoever. So therefore, if he only places the plate on top of the wall to protect the wall from the rain, he doesn't want the rain at all. If that rain ends up splashing onto the produce, it's not going to make the produce fit for tumah. Produce only becomes fit for tumah if the rain lands on the produce and it's with his satisfaction. He doesn't want the rain at all. Over here, however, what are we discussing? We're discussing the pouch. And he does want the pouch there in order to catch any emission, in order not to make him dirty. So he is interested in the pouch being there. What we're discussing over here is whether the pouch, is he carrying the pouch in the regular way for him or not? And the answer is for him, this is regular because he's trying to protect himself from the dirt. This is a continuation of the Gemara's question. If you would want to compare the question about the Zav carrying the pouch on Shabbos to the case over here with Tumah, the only comparison would be the only comparison would be to the Seifa over there in that Mishnah. What does it say? How about a person that has, for example, a leak in his house and he wants to protect the floor from the water? Areva, he puts a big dish or a big garbage can or whatever it is. So there's a leak and the rain is going into this dish. So any water that spills over or splashes out, that rain, that water that splashes out, he's not satisfied that it's splashing out. He doesn't want it to splash out. So if it splashes out onto produce, that doesn't become fit for tumah. V'shebetoicha, however, the rain that's inside, or the water that's leaking that's inside this dish, hareza b'chiyutan. That is b'chiyutan. He's satisfied that this dish is containing the water inside and not going all over the place. So the same thing over here, the person wearing the pouch, the Zav wearing the pouch, is satisfied that the pouch could be used to contain the emission in it. And that's the normal way for him wearing it. So therefore he should be chayiv when he carries this out on Shabbos. Hello. So therefore the Gemara gives a third pshat to explain the contradiction of the two braises. Again, in one braise it says if the Zav walks out with the pouch on Shabbos he's chayiv, and in one braise it says if the Zav walks out with the pouch on Shabbos he's potter. Abaye v'Rava damri tarvayu. Abaye and Rava both said loy kashya. There's no contradiction here. Ha Rabbi Yehuda v'ha Rab Shimon. The brayse that says that he's chayiv follows Rabbi Yehuda's opinion, and the brayse that says that he's potter follows Rab Shimon's opinion. And Rashi explains that this is the machlokes of Rabbi Yehuda and Rab Shimon regarding a malacha she'eina tzricha legufa. A malacha she'eina tzricha legufa, the way Rashi explains it over here, is a malacha that a person does and he has no tayelis from the malacha. He would have rather not needed the entire thing. And the example that Rashi brings is a person that's moitzi a mace on Shabbos from a Rosh Hashanah to a Rosh Hashanah. It's not something that he would have wanted b'chlal. He's doing the malacha, but he would have rather not have to do this entire malacha of taking out the mace. So therefore it's a malacha that he has no tzairich for, he has no tayelis for. That's called a malacha she'ein tzricha legufa in this interpretation of Rashi here. Now, al derech zav over here, this zav would rather not have any emission whatsoever. If now that he has the emission, he needs the pouch to protect himself from it. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, although it's a malacha she'ein tzricha legufa, he's not really accomplishing anything. He doesn't want this at all. But nevertheless, Rabbi Yehuda's opinion is you're still chayiv on a malacha she'ein tzricha legufa. Rabbi Shimon's opinion is you're potter on a malacha that you're not accomplishing anything with it. You're not interested in it. You're potter, and that's the machlokes of the two braises. Now we begin a new inyan. Tana de Rabbi Shmuel, we learned in the name of Rabbi Shmuel. Yoytzei Adam b'tfilin be'erev Shabbos im chashecha. A person may go out in the Rosh Hashanah, even close to Shabbos, with his tefillin in the street. My time, what's the reason? Before we said that you shouldn't walk out with a pin, you shouldn't walk out with a quill near Shabbos because you might forget and come to carry on Shabbos. And now we're saying you're allowed to walk out with the tefillin near Shabbos. The reason is, my time, a person has to pay attention every so often to his tefillin, not forget that he wears tefillin. And where did we learn this out from? Kavachaymer mitzitz. We learn it out from the tzitz. Matzitz shein by ela skara achas. When it comes to the kohen gadol that wears the tzitz, and it only has Hashem's name mentioned once. That it should be on his forehead constantly. That he should not lose the attention of the fact that he's wearing the tzitz. Tefillin, sheyesh ben askaras harbe. Tefillin that has the Eibish's name mentioned in it more than once, alachas kama v'kama. Most definitely, you have to every so often remind yourself of the tefillin that you're wearing. Hilkach, so therefore, even on Erev Shabbos, mitkadachalahu. He'll remember that he's wearing the tefillin and he won't come to carry it on Shabbos. Tanya Chananya Chayv Adam Lamashmish Big Day Erev Shabbos. We learned a person is chayiv to check his pockets before Shabbos. Im chashecha, when it's dark, when it comes to the dark, right before it becomes dark, that is. Rav Yosef added to this, Hilchase Rabsi l'Shabbos. This is a very important halacha regarding Shabbos. It's a preventative action that you check your pockets before and then you don't come on Shabbos, which could happen very often. Unfortunately, you see on Shabbos people are emptying their pockets of money and things. So he says, check your pockets before Shabbos and you won't come to any of these things. And also, we know people wear Shabbos clothing. This is another good reason why people should wear Shabbos clothing. So even if you have money or whatever else it is, muktzeh items in weekday clothing, but on Shabbos you don't have it. So now you're not going to come to this problem. So before, in the Mishnah, we were talking about a person that was walking in and out. Right before Shabbos, he's walking in, he's walking out. So a half hour before Shabbos already. You have to take out a pin and other things to make sure you're not going to forget. Over here, we're even talking about a person that's not walking in and out of Shabbos. He's sitting in his house on Shabbos, he's not going in and out, so he doesn't have to empty his pockets a half hour before. But right before Shabbos, before he goes out of his house, you have to check your pockets to make sure that they're empty. We go back to the Mishnah, where it said another din. Lo yafles kelev chulu, one should not take off the lice from his garments on Shabbos. The question was asked, what's the reason for this din? Lo yafles kelev bayom sheme yarek. You should not take off the lice on Shabbos, because you may, even during the day that is, on Shabbos, because you may kill the lice on Shabbos. But Rabbi Eliezer, and we're following, our Mishnah is following Rabbi Eliezer's opinion. The Tan Yom Rabbi Eliezer, Rahoyrik Kina b'Shabbos, one that kills even a small lice on Shabbos, Ki'ilu Hoyrik Gomel. It's the same as killing a large animal like a camel. So Rabbi Eliezer's opinion is that you're not allowed to kill a lice on Shabbos, and therefore you're not allowed to take off lice from your garment on Shabbos. You might come to kill a lice. And then, then the Mishnah says a second din. You should not read to the light of the lamp, Shemayata, and that's at night when it's dark, because you might come to play around with the fire of the lamp. That's one way to understand our Mishnah. Or perhaps we have to read our Mishnah differently. Tarvayu Shemayata, both not taking off the lice and not reading to the light of a lamp was both at nighttime, and the reason is because you might come to fix the light of the lamp. But during the day, a person may take off the lice on Shabbos. We'll see soon later in the Gemara, the Gemara is going to bring that there are really three opinions about the lice on Shabbos. First, we have here the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer. It's a chiyuv and a ism and a teira not to kill a lice on Shabbos, like killing a large animal. The second opinion is that it's only a ism d'Rabbanan. And the third opinion, which is Beis Hillel, towards the end of the Amud, we'll see, is that it's completely mutter. Completely mutter to kill a lice on Shabbos, and we'll talk soon about why. So the question of the Gemara right now is, what's the pshat in the Mishnah? Are you not allowed to kill the lice even during the daytime, like Rabbi Eliezer's opinion, so you're not allowed to clean your clothing from the lice even during the day? Or perhaps, when the Mishnah talks about the lice, it's connected to the din about not reading by the lamp, because you might come to fix the lamp, and it's only during the night. Toshama, we learned in Abraisa, Ein Poilin, you're not allowed to take off the lice, Ve'en Koirin Lo'iraneid, and you shouldn't read to the light of a candle or of a lamp. So it sounds over here like it goes together. This is only at nighttime. So the Gemara argues back, no, mi alima mi masnisen. Is this Braisa any stronger than our Mishnah? We can read it as two separate statements. Ein Pailin, even during the day, and then ve'en koiren lo'iraneid at night, because you might fix the lamp, two separate things. Shemat says in another Braisa very clearly, Ein Pailin lo'iraneid. You're not allowed to take off the lice to the light of a lamp. Ve'en koiren lo'iraneid. And you're not allowed to read to the light of a lamp. And Eilu min halachas she'omru ba'aliyas Chananya ben Chizkiya ben Goren. These are the halachas that were said at a certain time period in the attic or on the second floor of Chananya ben Chizkiya ben Goren. So in this price you see clearly Shema Mino, the Tarvayu Shema Yata. Both of them, the reason is because you might come to fix the lamp. Shema Mino. This is a clear proof. A person may not use the light of the lamp to see a difference between his clothing and his wife's clothing, because again you may come to fix the lamp. This was only said for the people of Mechuzah. The people of Mechuzah did not go out into the fields to work, and their clothing were with wide sleeves, similar to the women, and therefore it's not so easy to distinguish between the man's clothing and the woman's clothing, so you're not allowed to do that to the light of the lamp on Shabbos. Aval de b'nei chaklisa, the people that are living out in the rural areas and they go out to work in the field, their clothing are tighter. The men's clothing are much tighter in order for it not to get into the dirt, and therefore it's very easy to see the difference between the men's clothing and the ladies' clothing. So made the yadi, so it's easier to see, and therefore you can do it to the light of the lamp. But even the clothing of Bnei Mechuzah that we said is forbidden to do by the light of the lamp, only if there's clothing of an older woman. But if it's clothing of a younger woman, Meida Yidi, you could see the difference, because Rashivir explains that on Malagat Zeiten, the style was that the women wore very wide clothing, wide sleeves, and the younger ones wore even wider sleeves. And therefore, if they're younger, so then the clothing of the women are clearly different than the men's clothing, and you can look at them to see the difference to the light of a lamp on Shabbos, because they're not so similar. Now going back to the halacha of the lice. Tanarabanon ein peilen berishus harabim mipnei hakovet. B'chlal, even during the week, a person should not take off the lice from his clothing, even in Rishus Harabim, because it's not kovedik, it's not honorable conduct in the Rishus Harabim. Kayetze boy, Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Rabbi Nechemia, ein oisen apikteisen b'Rishus Harabim. A person should not induce vomiting if he's in the Rishus Harabim. Mipnei hakovet, also because it's not honorable. So, from this Gemara over here, we're talking about the lice. We see what the lifestyle was on Molige Zeiten. To have lice in the clothing was a very, very common and normal thing, and the Mishnah and the Gemara is telling you here the halachas about the lice. Tana Rabbanon, we learned in Abraisa, Hamafle es kelov, a person that's taking off the lice from his garments on Shabbos. Mailil v'zayrik, he can roll them and throw them away. Ubulvad shelo yarik, but he should not kill the lice on Shabbos. So according to the Tana Kama, killing a lice on Shabbos is a isser midrabanan. Abishal says, Naitul, you take it off your garment, v'zaydik, and you should immediately throw it away. Ubulvad shelo yimloil, do not roll it off in your fingers, because you might come to kill them. Abishal's opinion is killing a lice on Shabbos is a ism in Atayre, like the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer that we brought before. So therefore he was geyser that you have to immediately throw it off and you shouldn't roll it in your fingers. Rav Huna said, the halacha is mailol v'zayrik, you can roll it and you can throw it off of your hands. V'zehu kvaydai. And this is the honor. V'afilu b'choil, and this is the way it's done in the weekdays as well. So on Shabbos, during the week, you mailol v'zayrik. Rabbe makteluhu. Rabbe would kill the lice even on Shabbos. Rav Sheshes makteluhu, and he as well would kill the lice. Rave shadilu lekina demaya. Rave took the lice and he threw them into a bucket of water. Amalu Rav Nachman levnate. Rav Nachman would say to his daughters, Ketailen, you should kill them. Vashmiinen likala de sanvasi. And I want to hear the sound of my enemies dying. And this was even on Shabbos. So now here the Gemara brings the source of the Braise, where we see that killing lice on Shabbos is permitted. Tanya, Rav Shimon ben Elazar Omer, ein horigenes hamachoiles b'Shabbos. You're not allowed to kill a lice on Shabbos. Divrei Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel matirin. Beis Hillel say it's permitted. V'chein hoy Rav Shimon ben Elazar Omer mishum Rav Shimon ben Gamliel. And he said a list of things. Ein meshatchen es atinoikis la'ares. You're not allowed to make a shidduch on Shabbos with a girl. V'loyes atinik lelamde sefer v'lelamde omnis. And you're not allowed to prepare a sefer or profession for a child on Shabbos, to teach him, so you're not allowed to prepare this on Shabbos. And Rashi explains that this is the reason. The reason for all of this is because mimtzai cheftzecha. On Shabbos, a person should not be busy with his own personal needs that he prepares, that he needs for the week. On Shabbos, we're occupied with Shabbos, so these things are forbidden on midrabanan on Shabbos. Ve'ein menachem and avelim. We don't do nichem avelim on Shabbos. Ve'ein mevakrim chaylim b'Shabbos. We don't go and visit sick people on Shabbos. Divrei Beis Shammai. This is the opinion of Beis Shammai. U'Beis Hillel matirin. Beis Hillel is mat to all of these things. Beis Hillel holds that they are allowed to be done on Shabbos. Chafetzecha v'loy chafetze shemayim. It comes to be memayit something else, but all of these things are allowed to be done on Shabbos because all of these things are mitzvahs related. If it's anything that's personal, your own personal things on Shabbos, that's not allowed. But to make a shidduch, to marry off a child, or to go be menachem mavel, or to prepare a child to learn Torah, even to prepare a profession for a child is also a mitzvah, to give him a trade. All of these things are mutter on Shabbos because it's called chafetze shemayim. Going back for a second to the lice, so it says over here in the Gemara that it's allowed to kill the lice on Shabbos, and the reason is because the lice, the Gemara says, is not born from, it's born from the skin of the body. As I state in the Gemara and later, it's not born from an egg that's laid. That's pashut pshat that it says. The question is, but we know that it is born from the nits that there are from the lice, that's what they're born from. They're not born from the skin of the body. So this is a very famous discussion. How could the Gemara say that you're allowed to kill a lice on Shabbos? It's born from eggs, and it should be just like any other living creature that you may not kill. So the simple answer that's given is that the nits are so tiny, they're so small that it's not even discernible for the eyes to see unless you look very, very closely and you know how to find it. Otherwise, you mamish can't even see it at all. So therefore, it's too small to be considered to be a living creature to be forbidden to kill on Shabbos. Sagt the Gemara weiter, since we mentioned over here about Bika Chaylam on Shabbos, the Gemara is going to discuss Bika Chaylam on Shabbos. Taner Rabbanan, Hanichnas Lavakres HaChayla, a person that goes into a place to visit a sick person. Oimer Shabbos im Elizaik, so he says, Shabbos is a time where we don't daven to the Eibusha, we don't ask our needs on Shabbos, including a person that's not well, but a refuah kreiva lavai. The refuah will come automatically on Shabbos, because of the holiness on Shabbos, the refuah will come automatically. The Rebbe brings this Gemara, interestingly, I saw in a few letters, this concept of Shabbos im Elizaik refuah kreiva lavai, also beneged to people that are sick, and there are certain things that are forbidden to do on Shabbos for their health. Obviously, we're not talking about things that must be done for Bakoach Nefashis or other things that are antibiotics that are allowed to be taken on Shabbos. But there are certain times that a Chayla can't do certain things on Shabbos. So the Rebbe writes and says, just like there are certain things that we don't do on Shabbos, like over here it says Shabbos im Elizaik, we don't daven for Chayla on Shabbos, and the Shabbos itself is the source of the healing. The same thing, those things that you're not allowed to do for a Chayla on Shabbos, the Shabbos will take care of it automatically. Rab Meir says, Yechoila hi sheterachim. Shabbos itself could have Rachmanis in you. It's a source of Rachmanis in you. If you machabit Shabbos, and you know what, you're not going to have tsar on Shabbos, so then Shabbos itself is the source of Rachmanis for this person. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, we turn over to the next daf, next Amud that is, Yud Beis Amud Beis. Rabbi Yehuda says, Hamokim Yerachem Alecha. The Eibusher should have mercy on you, V'al Chayla Yisrael, and on all Chaylim of amongst Yidden. Rabbi Yosi Aimer, Rabbi Yosi says, Hamokim Yerachem Alecha B'toich Chayla Yisrael, amongst the other Chaylim of Yidden. And as Rashi explains, you have to include yourself with others, then the Eibusher listens to your tefillas quicker. Shevna ish Yerushalayim. Shevna, which was a great person, and he lived in Yerushalayim. B'knisase, when he entered into a chayla Aimer, he would say Shalom, peace upon you. Or b'yitziyasai Aimer, and then when he left, he would say Shabbos im Elizaik, or refuah kreiva lavai, and he would add also V'rachamav merubin. The rachmim of Shabbos is great. V'sheftai b'shalom, and if you rest on Shabbos, you will rest in peace. Keman Oslo Hodam Rab Chanina. Whose opinion there's? What Rab Chanina said, follow. Misha Yesh Lechayla B'toich Beisai, a person that has a sick man in his house. Tzarich She Arvenu B'toich Chayla Yisrael. You have to include him together. When you daven for him, you have to include him together with all the other Chayla Yisrael. Keman Ke Rab Yosi. It follows what Rab Yosi said before, that you say B'soich Chayla Yisrael, which is the nusach of the Misha Beirach that we make today, B'soich Shar Chayla Yisrael. Rab Chanina B'koishi Hitiru with difficulty, they permitted to allow a person to be menachem avel or visit the sick on Shabbos. When we followed Rabbi Lazar, when he went to go and seek the well-being of a person that was sick, Zimni Namar, sometimes he would daven in Lashon Kodesh. He said, Hamakayim yifaktoch l'shalom. The Eibusher should remember you in peace. V'zimni Namar, and sometimes he would daven in Aramaic. Rachmana yatkirinoch l'shalom. Hashem should remember you in peace. So that was his custom, sometimes in Lashon Kodesh and sometimes in Aramaic. Fragt the Gemara, hey Chiyavedach, how did he daven in Aramaic? A person should not daven in Aramaic. A person that davens in Aramaic, Ein Malachi Asharis Neskaken. The Malachi Asharis do not take his tefillas and bring it up to heaven. She'ein Malachi Asharis Makirim B'Lashon Arami. Malachi Asharis do not recognize that language. And for the Gemara, Shani Chayle the Shechina Imai. In the case of a Chayle, the Shechina alone is with the sick person. He doesn't need the Malachi Asharis to deliver his tefillas l'mayla. The Shechina is there with him. From where do we know that the Shechina supports a Chayle? Shenemar Hashem Yisadenu. The Eibusher supports Al Eres Devoy, for a person that lies sick in a bed. Tanya Nami Yachi, we learned similar in another Braisa. Hanichnas Lavakres HaChayla, a person that enters to visit the sick. Lo Yoshev Lo Agabi Mita, he shouldn't sit on the bed. V'lo Agabi Kisei, and not sit on a chair. This is speaking about a case where the sick person is lying on the floor, so don't sit above him on a bed or on a chair. Elo Misatif, wrap yourself, Yoshev Lefanav, and sit on the ground right in front of him. Because the Shechina is above his head. Not only is the Shechina supporting him, but the Shechina is right there above his head. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, Hashem yisadenu al eres devoy. Hashem supports the person that's sick in bed. From where do we know that Eibusher feeds a person that's sick? Shenemar Hashem yisadenu al Eibusher supports him, and yisadenu is also used in the context of food. Al eres devoy, the person that's sick in bed. Now the Gemara returns back to the next halacha that we learned in the Mishnah, that you're not allowed to read to the light of a lamp on Shabbos. So Rabbi said, and even if the lamp is so tall, it's the height of two people, even that you're not allowed to read to the light of the lamp. Weiter, the Gemara says, and even if it's taller, shtei mardeos. I forgot the English translation of mardeos right now. It's a some kind of a tool or thing that's even taller than the height of two people. Still, the point is, even if the lamp is so far from you, light plug. Hacham would not make a difference in their gzeira, even though you may say you can't reach the lamp. He's not going to fix it. Still, you're not allowed to read in its presence. Va'afile asara batim zu agabezu. Even if it's so tall, like the height of 10 houses, still you're not allowed to read in the presence of the lamp when you have to read and you have to see the words. And the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, by the way, adds, it doesn't only mean reading, but it means anything that you have to inspect and look with attention, and you have to see the specifics of it. And one example the Alter Rebbe brings there is checking a person's tzitzis on Shabbos to see if he has 8 strings and if it's kosher. So he has to inspect it closely. You're not allowed to do that to the light of the lamp on Shabbos.
Today it's applicable by lamp also?
Yeah, well, not with electricity. I don't think so. Pretty sure that all of this Gemara does not apply to electricity at all, because this is dafke by a lamp, because the nature of the wick and the flame and it flickers and it doesn't burn always properly. But with electricity, none of this is applicable whatsoever. Yeah. So the Gemara says, Chad. If it's one person alone, so he shouldn't read to the light of the lamp. But if it's with 2 people that are sitting by the lamp, so they could remind each other, so then they're allowed. But we learned in a Braisa, not one individual, and not 2 individuals either. They shouldn't read it even together by the light of a lamp. It's not a question. If 2 people are learning the same subject, so then they are together and they remind each other, and kan b'shnei inyanim. Or if they're reading 2 different subjects, so each one is in their own thing, and they're not going to be able to remind each other. The Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch brings 2 opinions about this. The 2 people that are learning the same subject, one opinion is that's even if they're learning from a separate sefer, but because they're learning the same subject, so they can pay attention to each other. Another opinion is, please close the door. Another opinion is that dafke, if they're reading out of the same sefer, then I say that they're going to remind each other. If you have a large medura, a large flame, a large bonfire, even if you have 10 people, aser. It's forbidden for people to read there at that bonfire because it's too large and they're not going to be close to each other to be able to remind each other. It's one pshat, Rashi says. Amar Rava said, Im Adam Choshevu. If we're talking about a prominent individual, Mutter is allowed to read by the light of a lamp because a prominent individual doesn't bother with fixing lights of a lamp. It's below his dignity. So therefore, we're not afraid he's going to come to do that. Gemara, how could you say so? Meisvei, I'll ask you the question of the following Braisa, where it says the following story. Lo yikra lo eiraner, a person should not read to the light of a lamp, shema yate, because he may come and fix it on Shabbos. Now, Amar Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha, Ani ekra, I will read at the light of a lamp, v'lo yate, and I will not fix it on Shabbos. Pamachas kora. Once he was reading, he was learning by the light of a lamp. Ubikesh lahatos, and he was about to go and fix the light on Shabbos. Omar, he said, Kam gedolim divrei chachamim. How wise and how great are the words of the chachamim shahayu oimrim leyikra lo'iraner, that a person shouldn't come to read by the light of a lamp, because they understood that it's human nature that he's going to forget himself and he's going to come and fix the lamp. Rab Nosson says the story went even further. He actually was learning on Shabbos, and he ended up fixing the light of the lamp on Shabbos. The Kosav al Pinkosai, and Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha wrote down in his diary, in his book, Ani Yishmael ben Elisha Karisi v'hiteisi. I was learning and I fixed the light on Ner b'Shabbos l'kishiyibana beis hamikdash. When the beis hamikdash will be built, Avi chatos shmeina. I will bring a fat animal for a carbon chatos. So we see over here a prominent individual like Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha, and even he fix the lamp on Shabbos. How can we say before that an Adam Choshuv is allowed to read to the light on Shabbos? Amar Ababe, Shani Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha. Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha is different. Because although he was a prominent individual, but when it comes to learning Torah, and he wants to be able to see the words of Torah, he'll be ready to do anything, even act like a hedyot, like a plain person, and fix the lamp himself to be able to learn Torah. So therefore, for him, it doesn't apply in this case. The Rebbe brings this in the Sikhe, this idea over here, that if a person was Machal Shabbos today, b'shegig, that he has to write down and bring la'asad lavay achatas shmeina, and the Rebbe comments on this and says, we don't find anywhere in Shas or Minig that people did this, and we don't find this over generations with great Gedolei Yisrael throughout the generations that people had a pinkis where they would write such a thing. So therefore the Rebbe says this story that happened over here with Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha must be an exception, and it's not an inyan that you have to do b'chlal. L'asad lavai, you won't have to bring any carbon chatas, because anything you do today which you chayav a chatas for, the tshuva is mechaper b'shleimus, and you don't have to bring the carbon chatas l'asad lavai. Why did this happen with Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha? The Rebbe has various pshatim of how to explain this. One of them is there's a medrash that says that there was a certain short tkufa in the time of the Tanoim, in the time when Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha was alive, that permission was granted to build a Beis HaMikdash, and they began already building the Beis HaMikdash. And because it was a certain short kufa that there was already permission and they were going to build the Beis HaMikdash, so therefore he wrote it with a plan to bring the carbon chatas. But other than that, b'chlal, throughout the generations, we don't find this inyan. The tshuva b'zman hagalus is b'shleimus, the Rebbe says. Sagt the Gemara weiter, Tani Chada, we learned in one brayse, Shamish, Baidik, Kaisis, Vekairis. A servant may inspect the cups and the dishes on the table to see what's clean, what's dirty, to the light of the lamp. V'tani Yidach, we learned in a different brayse, Lo Yivdaik. You should not inspect the dishes to the light of the lamp. Lo Kashya. So it's not, the Gemara answers, this is not a question. Kan b'shamish kavua. One case is speaking about a permanent servant that does his job all the time. Kan b'shamish she'ena kavua. So Rashi's pshat over here is a shamish kavua has more the fear of his master because of the job, the constant job that he has, and therefore he works harder to inspect it. So therefore he wants to do a good job, so we don't allow him to inspect it on Shabbos. A shamish ain't a kavua. A one-time waiter, he comes in, he does a job, and comes in and out, so he doesn't do such a good job. So therefore we allow him to inspect it even on Shabbos. That's Rashi's pshat. The other Rishonim and the Rambam and the actual pshat that Alter Rebbe brings in Shulchan Aruch is the opposite. A shamish kavua is a professional at what he does. Even just by looking from far, he can see what's clean and what's dirty. A shamish ain't a kavua, so he's doing the job the first time, or he does it temporarily, so therefore it's harder for him to see, so he's not allowed to do it on Shabbos. Both prices could be speaking about a permanent shamish. One is talking about a lamp with regular oil, and one is talking about a lamp with kerosene. The one with kerosene has a very bad odor, and the person doesn't want to get close to it if he doesn't have to. So therefore we're not concerned that he's going to come and fix it on Shabbos. Shamish ain't a kavua. How about if you have a shamish that's not kavua, he's not permanent, b'demeshcha, but it's with a regular oil. Mahu, what's going to be the din? Is he allowed to inspect the dishes on Shabbos? Amarav halacha ve'ein moirikin. It's a halacha that he may, but we don't tell people that you're allowed to do this. Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Amma Amar, Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba said, halacha o moirikin. It's a halacha, he's allowed, and we tell people that you're allowed. Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba ikla lebei Rabasi. Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba came to Rabasi and come shamei kabadik lenahoire de shage. So the servant got up and he was inspecting the dishes and the cups by the light of the lamp. Amra lei de bisu. So his wife said to him, Amar lei ovid hachi. And you, master, you don't do like this on Shabbos? That isn't it a problem on Shabbos to allow him to inspect the dishes on Shabbos to the light of the lamp? Omar lo shafkei kirabe svirele. This servant is doing like his teacher Rabbi Yirmiyah Ba'abe, and he held that it's allowed to be done on Shabbos, and he's following the opinion of his teacher.